Hey everyone, you're tuned into InfoQuench with Jeff.
And Amy. Join us as we talk about anything.
And everything.
All the stuff that makes life interesting.
So let's get to it. Hey everybody, and welcome to InfoQuench. I am Amy.
And this is Jeff.
And we are here to tell you a little bit more about pandemics.
We are. This is volume 3. Did you catch what we did there?
Yeah, we tried to trick people, keeping you on your toes, you know?
Trying to be clever.
Trying to be clever and, entertaining. I guess that's what we were going for there, entertaining.
Hopefully we
I should have actually tried to sound like you, and you should have actually tried to sound like me. Do you want to try it again?
Let's try it again.
Okay, ready? Hey, everybody. Welcome to InfoQuench, and I am Amy.
And I'm Jeff. And this is my radio voice that I use. It's really deep.
This is my radio voice. Oh, man, that was entertaining. Okay, so right off the hop, I just wanted to say, well, first of all, thank you, everyone, for listening. We've gotten a little bit of a jump in listeners and stuff. It's really nice. It's really nice, you know. And but anyways, I wanted to talk to you about things that I've been kind of noticing. Yeah, I find it really interesting when I'm going for a walk now, and that, I'm just walking on the sidewalk, doing my social distancing and stuff. But it's really interesting when someone's coming the other way. It's almost like I'm a monster. That people will go out of their way to get away from me. Like they go out almost into the dotted line of the road and then back in onto the sidewalk. And it's, I've never been so happy to be avoided in my life. Anyway.
Oh, no, it's awesome. I mean, so Jeff and I, we record this podcast out of St. John, New Brunswick, and we live, right in the heart of uptown St. John. So for us to, we've been driving out, trying to find locations where there were very little people when we go out as a family so that we can do proper social distancing, which is we all know is essential. But I think it was just last night we each went for walks on our own in around our neighborhood. But
and it was a ghost town.
It is.
Which is what it should be.
And I actually I walked mostly in the road. There weren't it wasn't much in terms of vehicle traffic.
No, I noticed that as well.
And I just found it was easier than trying to always walk out when I was, encountering somebody on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
But it was eerie.
It is eerie out there. It's everything's shut. Everything is shut, man, except for like grocery stores, liquor stores, cannabis stores, and hardware stores. What else? I think that's...
I'm not going to name all the stores, but pharmacies, anything that's essential.
Anything that's essentials.
So just to kind of give a little bit of a... I'm not going to name all the stores,
Jeff.
Jeff.
Fine, then don't. Just talk about what you want to talk about then.
All right, here. Superstore, Shopper.
No. It's okay. Go ahead. Don't name them.
All right. So we've been spending a little bit of time together, and I know everybody else has been spending a lot of time together too. And
stop blinking so loud.
It's been
Will
wonderful.
You? Just stop blinking so
wonderful.
loud. You're always shaking your eyes here, shaking your eyes there.
That's awesome. But I want to put a timestamp on this. It is we're recording this on Monday, March 23rd. Currently in New Brunswick, we're still only at 17 cases. I'm not going to divide them up between
and have been for 3 days now.
No,
2 days.
Well, there was we went 24 hours without any, and then we had an increase, and there was
okay.
There was like 2 days without any new cases, and then I think there's probably a bit of a lull in reporting over the weekend.
Right.
Regardless, we'll take the good news when we can get it. I know there's some discussion around the numbers of tests that are being done and if it's actually, if our numbers are representative of the actual cases out there. But everybody needs to act like they already have COVID-19. And
we have a whole new system when I get home from work because I work on overnight shifts. So it's like when I come in, it's completely, I don't know, like it's
You're
very...
stripping down.
Yeah, stripping down and... leaving my wallet.
It's getting R-rated
yeah.
upon arrival because, we want to make sure that any of the clothing that was worn at Jeff's workplace, because he's interacting with other people who, still keeping the social distancing, but just the nature of the workplace,
Like, we do not take it lightly, and I don't think people should. Like, I understand that there's this debate going on as far as, like, people shouldn't be holed up and they should be out and that's true. Like you should go for walks, you should go for hikes and stuff like that. But you really do have to keep your distance. There's no going over to a friend's place and then just like, hanging out like, 3 feet away from one another. That doesn't cut it. You should cut that all out for now anyways, until it becomes, clearer instructions, you know?
And I see it's changing every day. You know, you're watching on social media and you can see that opinions are starting to evolve. And whereas the person who might have said last week that it was okay to hang around with their friends because they knew their friends were being careful.
Yeah.
They realize, this week that that's simply not the case. That it
Exactly. Yeah.
The reason we hang around with people we live with is because that's unavoidable. We got to hang around with them.
Exactly.
But the rest of the world, we need to be distancing ourselves, and it's
for now, yeah, like because that's a directive from the government, and just like to keep everybody safe and medical professionals not overwhelmed.
I just think that if everybody had listened sooner,
yeah,
we would be in even better shape. But I'm just thankful, I guess, that people are starting to listen now.
Absolutely.
But there's probably so many people out there already that are asymptomatic, walking around and are contagious and giving it to people, and their kids are playing together, or they're, tossing a ball back and forth. And actually, one of our local medical doctors here in St. John, New Brunswick, put out a message just urging people, to watch out for those types of things. Be aware that the virus lives on surfaces, and that playground equipment isn't a good idea for kids.
Yeah, when I went for a walk, there
nature.
was one kid and two parents at the playground just close by our home, and I was just like shaking my head as I walked by. It's like, well.
And I think a lot of people, I mean, it's a new thing for people, so the messaging is slow to get out there, and people don't really know what to believe.
Yeah,
I think by my nature, I always err on the side of caution because. Just I guess having worked for a regional health authority and being, I guess, super hyper aware of infection control measures, it's always been important to me. But this is put it at its next level. It's
really interesting though how, especially on social media, how creative and open people are on social media, because a lot of people, that's all they have. I mean, imagine if you didn't have like a significant other, or you didn't have any family, and you're living at home. I mean, social media is pretty much all you have as a bridge to other people. But people are doing so many different interesting things on social media. Actually, we have a Facebook group called Pandemic Parenting. You should check out.
Yes, absolutely. We started that. Well, actually, it was a week ago today that we recorded this. Did I say we're recording this on Sunday? Anyways, I can't remember if I said what. We're recording this episode on Monday, March 23rd. But yeah, it was a week ago we started the group, and the content is incredible.
It is.
As Jeff was playing with one of the many apps that have been shared.
The music apps.
The music apps on. I said we should have.
I forget the name of it now.
We should have started this.
Chrome something.
We should have started this pandemic parenting group a long time ago.
I know, but you stopped short of saying there should have been a pandemic long ago, so we could have had this.
We would have had. It would have been called a group by another name, but But it has been a great resource for parents. I think too. For me, you
got to keep the little ones busy.
Well, and it also keeps, I guess, the regular Facebook feed from being bombarded with everything that we're doing with our kids. So it's kind of it consolidates everything into one little place that fellow parents can commiserate or rejoice in all the time they're spending with their little ones.
It can be difficult, but it's a transition. Let's just say.
So I wanted to challenge you each episode to tell me one thing that you have learned from this pandemic.
Yes. And that was, I already shared it. It was when I was going for a walk, how easily people avoid me.
Oh.
That was what it was.
Okay, you learned that?
Well, I kind of,
We've
it's
been
something
avoiding
that
you
I've
for
been
years.
noticing. Well, I've learned many things. It's just things that you need to do to really feel comfortable that maybe you've rid yourself of a virus that you may have on you somewhere is unending. It seems to be unending. And you can never be too careful. And I just wanted to say that. That's one thing I've learned. You can never be too careful.
Right. So let's talk about some of the, I guess, a little bit of a philosophical discussion around this pandemic.
Let's do it.
And
I'm in.
And this kind of leads into one of the things that I've learned.
Put on my
I've
Nietzsche
thought
hat.
about.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'm thinking some of our listeners will feel the same way. It's when you are sort of, when you're getting ready in the morning, you put on your work clothes if you're going to work, or,
Right.
you have casual clothes if you're going to a social engagement. If you're a woman or man who likes to wear makeup, you have makeup
all
that you
that.
put, So in getting, ready for the day, it's really made me reflect on the things that I do for myself versus maybe what the things I do for others.
Yes, that's a good point.
So there's a quote that I came across that said, and I don't know who it's attributed. Probably multiple people have said it, but it's, if the whole world was blind, who would you impress?
Right.
And I know the whole world isn't blind. We're still seeing a lot of people are participating in all these virtual, gatherings, so people can still see you, but it's a little bit different. It's different than being face to face.
Yeah, there's that philosophical idea, like why do people wear makeup? Did we talk about this? We talked about this a couple days ago. It's like, do you wear makeup because you want to feel like you look better, or are you trying to impress somebody else, or you just feel better for yourself? Do you know what I mean?
Right. If there were no mirrors,
Right.
and none of us even knew what we looked like, what are the things that we would do versus what we wouldn't?
That's right.
We would brush our teeth so that our breath would be fresh and our teeth wouldn't fall out. We would
That's right.
Practice personal hygiene.
Yes.
But, how many women are shaving their legs in the wintertime and versus women that aren't, and why do they do that and why do they not?
Yes. So are there single women living alone right now shaving their legs because it's a social norm to do, or are they just like, screw it, I'm not going anywhere and whatever?
Or maybe they're like, I like smooth legs and I'm
right.
just going to keep on shaving.
That's right.
Or they, it's just an interesting thing. And I don't think I know that there's not a right or wrong answer. Everybody would give a different answer as to what, their level of prepping would be, that they, some people just enjoy the act of putting on makeup or painting their nails or just that personal
how
pampering.
do you feel? Like how do you feel about the whole makeup conundrum when during a pandemic? Like, do you want to put it on just as much as before, even though you're not really going out? Or are you putting it on because it's a habit? Do you know what I mean?
I think I probably put it on a bit out of a habit.
Right. Okay.
But also for you.
Yes. But you know how I feel about makeup. Like you don't have to wear makeup for me,
Well, no, I know.
But I understand what you're saying.
I know that's what you have to say. I'm holding up cue cards for Jeff here. No.
I did that all on my own.
I love you because I know you mean that, but
I like to natural you, baby.
But it does make you think about, even your clothing and all those things that you do. Are you if you spent the morning normally curling your hair, or are you just sporting a ponytail all day now?
I never thought of my clothing as pretty much toxic waste, like when I get home from work. But that's how I feel it is. It's just like, I can't wait. You got to get rid of this. And and then it's like replenished by being washed, and then we're fine.
Well, I mean, men shave their face.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there are men who are, maybe not shaving as much. One of the things I learned is I'm probably going to have to figure out how to cut hair pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, I'm
not
just going to shave
but
mine.
for you and for our son Hux.
I've been talking about it. I'm going to do it.
Shave it off?
Shave it right off.
Oh, good. That'll
go down to a number 4. Yeah.
Oh, the number 4.
But then I'll be going to see Jerry at Brick City Barbers afterwards. So shout out to Jerry.
Yeah, we're gonna need some heavy duty fix ups after this.
Yeah.
I mean, with women too, there's a lot of women that go regularly to get hair coloring. So it'd be interesting to see if there's a sort of a wave of people just going gray or white and sticking with it.
Well,
after this,
that's
because
the thing.
They get accustomed to it, and they're like, "Hey, you know what? What was I spending all this time doing all this work for? This is actually pretty great."
Unless you have somebody who knows how to cut hair within wherever you are being self-isolated, you're going to have to figure something out. No one's just going to let their hair grow down to their ankles. So this could be going on for a while. So.
But I mean, we have a 7-year-old, so we've got to trim his hair up so it's not in his eyes, and
we'll have everybody looking like Grizzly Adams. I'm dating myself there with Grizzly Adams, but anyways.
No, but I think it'll be a fascinating social experiment to see how it is. I know a lot of women are going naturally gray and
Mm-hmm.
enjoying it and finding it very freeing. So I'll be interested to see if this situation pushes more women
Yeah.
to explore that, or
Yeah.
forces them to explore it, and to see if maybe they accept that and
Exactly.
say, hey, you know what? In the end, that wasn't really what was all that important.
For a while, a lot of things are just going to be, conducted online, so people don't have to be around other people. It's going to change the whole dichotomy of like how people interact, because people can't interact. So it's going to be, well, but they can. Don't get me wrong. Like, you can go for walks with people, but you have to be social distanced, right? Or physical distance is what they like to call it, physical distance now, not social distance.
Right. I can't keep up.
Which makes sense.
I can't keep up with all the
Really,
hashtags.
because they want people to be social with one another, but they want them to have the physical distance between one another, right?
And it's hard with kids because kids don't
Oh.
understand and they run up to one another.
We're trying our best to keep our kid not only busy but happy, because like you never know how it's affecting kids. You really don't.
No.
They don't come out and say this pandemic is really a bummer, mom and dad. Like they don't say things like that.
One of the things
maybe
that
they
we
do. I don't
did
know.
this week, well, probably teenagers do, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
teenagers
sure
would.
teenagers approve.
Ours
I
is
can't
7,
imagine.
so
I can't imagine the challenge of teenagers with boyfriends and girlfriends they can't see, and how parents are navigating that. We
Yeah.
actually went parking with our friends.
yes, we did. That was really cool, actually.
We redefined parking, and what we did is we
Arranged a
they-
really nice scenic spot.
Right. So we just, choose a place with a view, park far enough away from each other that you have that adequate, 6-foot distance, maybe allow a little extra room for the kid hanging out the windows.
We were
which
about
kids-
5-6
kids
feet
have a
away from one
tendency to
another.
do. And, we were
The show and tell
definitely-
thing that you came up with was
we-
really good idea. Sorry, cut you off, but
That's
know.
okay.
that was a really cool idea. So the kids aren't bored; they have something to show.
So make sure they have like a bag of toys or something that they kind of hold up
Mm-hmm.
as they're talking to each other through the windows. But you said 5 or 6 feet, but they're recommending 6 or more feet. So make sure your cars are parked at least that distance away to be safe, because you're going through the
Absolutely.
effort. You might as well make sure that you're the safe distance away to avoid any risk. And you can go to a place that's relatively quiet, not too windy, so you can hear each other well, and it's great. You're all sort of seated and comfortable, and you don't have to worry about the kids.
You can
forgetting
commiserate
and
face to face. You really can.
Well, and it's a little different than. It's nice to see your friends in 3 dimensions every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, when we had done that, the particular friends that we parked with, they hadn't talked to anybody outside their house since it started, since we were self-isolated. So,
Oh, really?
well, I mean, they did it online, but not face to face.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? No, yeah, that's what they were saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, another thing that this makes you reflect on is who you miss in your life and who you don't.
Yeah.
And what,
Yeah. What's important, what isn't.
That's right. I think a lot of people have thought that they, one of the dreams people always have is that they want to work from home.
Yeah.
That's the thing, oh, I wish I could work from home. I just sit in my pajamas and we were all instantly, forced. Those who were fortunate enough to
The dream
to be
isn't
able to
quite
be-
the dream, is
No,
it, when
I
you're
know.
doing it?
Well, I like I said, I feel very fortunate to be able to work from home, because not all
I know.
professions
Yeah.
allow for that, and I know people are in some pretty hard circumstances at the moment. So, I'm not complaining one bit. But what I will say is that I do appreciate the structure of a work environment more, and I miss the company of coworkers and that interaction throughout the day.
Right.
So I definitely have a completely different perspective on work life and the benefits of being in an office environment. And,
yeah. The
and
big
all
the
the
big
social
question is
aspects of that.
how is everything going to go back to that? Like, is it going to be able to? Like,
Well, I think so. I think
over
it depends.
time, when we get a vaccine and everybody feels comfortable around one another, and it's not like, each person that you're around is like a bomb about to go off, it's like,
Well, I think some companies may realize that they can see great productivity from people working at home and
good.
save on overhead costs.
Yeah.
Right. I think that may be the case with certain industries.
yeah,
Other ones might say, no, you know what, this is an experiment we don't want to repeat. We need that face-to-face interaction, collaboration,
right.
more directly. So I think companies will definitely evolve from this. I think work environments will look a little different.
I hope so.
Even the office setups could be
They
more
figure it all
conducive
out.
to infection control in case there were a need down the road.
This is pretty unprecedented, though. But wasn't it pretty much as far as like the the timeline of our Earth wasn't it time pretty much for a pandemic? Wasn't it like weren't we due for one? Like, hadn't it been? Well, I mean, we had H1N1 and swine flu and stuff and SARS.
Well, I mean, if you look at the major pandemic of 1918, which you'd say so it was 102 years ago. So if you thought of something coming every 100 years, I know there's a lot of discussions and theories out there about what, whether this was going to happen inevitably or how it
I'm
began.
just curious as to the, they seem to expect them after a certain amount of time has passed, it seems.
Right.
But yeah, and it's interesting.
I think one thing we know for sure is that this isn't a 14-day experiment. This is a several months,
absolutely,
perhaps longer. I mean, if you're following the news and the research about how long it's going to take to get these clinical trials completed for vaccines and for mass distribution, then we're looking at a long haul here. But it's. There is an end. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. Whether it's through, I've read a lot about this, and likely to be a combination of people who have already contracted the virus and then eventually develop an immunity. So a certain percentage of the population will fall into that category.
So those people will be the worker bees, right? They'll help people who get it because they can't get it. That's the way it would work. That's the way it would work in my head anyways.
And then you would have, eventually you would have your vaccines available to, to help another segment of the population. So it'll be
incremental.
It will be, and it'll be a long time before we're back to normal. And
absolutely.
Hopefully we can adapt.
I think we already have to a degree in many respects. I mean, we're still trying to figure out the real problems that this thing has caused from the beginning of this pandemic. How are people going to get money? How are people going to start their businesses up again? And how are people, that all still needs to be really figured out. I mean, our government is thankfully trying, but there's so many things that are not known.
Well, it's just it's a reset button for the entire Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, there's a poem called Lockdown that I shared on our Instagram account, and it was also read by Anderson Cooper on CNN.
Oh, yes. He's like, I wish I wrote it, but he never said who wrote it. No. That was really strange to me.
No, it was a friar, but it's, there is a lot of positive things that are coming, out of this. The environment is healing and having a bit of a rest. Mother Nature's kicked us out of the sky and out of the oceans, and things are sort of clearing up. So there's definitely some positive things. I think people are appreciating and reconnecting to their immediate family, maybe a little more than they have in the past. And we're sort of going back to, our roots.
We're getting back into nature.
Well, that's right. So, Lyme
safely.
Disease sort of pushed us out of nature, and this is sort of pushing us back in, and we're reconnecting with our homes. We're spending more time in our homes, so we're
puttering around a lot, doing things that
when you're spending that much time in your home, you start to notice more things. You spend more time maybe organizing.
Yeah, and it's funny because you and I had a conversation, I think it was last night, where we kind of came to this agreement, where we've always had this, but it's a little bit more important to have time on your own. Remember, I was like, if you ever need time just to be by yourself and just do whatever you need to do, think or whatever, just go do it. And I'll never think, it's a problem or anything like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people think about this, isolating ourselves into our homes. We're spending a lot of time alone, but we're not. We're actually... No. There isn't a lot of time for seclusion because we are with our family, unless you live by yourself, and that's a different scenario. I mentioned quite a few episodes back that I had started the 5 a.m. club. I read the book, The 5 a.m. Club. 5:30 a.m. Yeah. Yes. For me, it's 5:30 a.m. by Robin Sharma, and I will do a future episode that goes more into detail.
That would be cool.
About what the club is about.
It is really fascinating.
But Actually, I'm
It's really helped you.
Almost a
Like,
full month into it.
yeah.
And I debated when this all went down and, schools closed and everything got turned on its head whether to continue on, but I decided I would. And I really feel like it's something that has helped,
Yeah.
for my mental
Yeah.
health. I getting up in that early morning hour, having some time to myself to,
Write your
doing,
journal.
yeah,
and-
doing some reflection, time for meditation, for getting exercise in early, because
Yes.
there's so much going on, working from home and having our son home and all of those things. Having that early morning hour has been really helpful. So I encourage you to, try to have some sort of structure to your day
Yes.
and a way to even divide out your weekdays from your weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're all really pushing ourselves with our kids to do so much. There are a lot of apps and activities and homeschooling activities, but even having one small thing a day that you can look forward to, something that
Yeah.
even if the day is Lego day or the day
Yeah.
is
We've
we're
had
gonna
math day, Lego day,
you're gonna draw a picture day,
art day,
or it
collage
doesn't have
day.
to be big, it doesn't have to be elaborate, you don't have to spend 6 hours working on
No.
some special craft. But I think if you just have something that breaks up the days for the kids and for you,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and so that they're not all running into each other,
Yeah.
and that you can remember what day it is.
Yes.
Because we all know what it's like when you're on like Christmas vacation or something like that, and all of a sudden all the days are running into one another.
Right.
And
It is important. It is important to keep everybody busy doing their own things, and it's fun to explore new things. I mean, you really truly do have a lot of time because of this pandemic when you're self-isolating and stuff, and you can try something new. Try something new. If you think you can't draw, well, try it. There's all kinds of courses online on YouTube. Alfonso Dunn, actually, if you like pen and ink drawing, is absolutely amazing. So check that out.
That's right. I mean, don't just save it for, don't just do it for the kids, do it for yourself.
I like doing little projects as well on Facebook. Like, I just started doing a daily thing where I share some local music. It's just because they've been hit hard too. Everybody's been hit hard, but like musicians aren't doing concerts. They're not making albums or anything right now. They're doing like really great live Facebook feeds and stuff, but it's nice to keep them, in the picture. And that's a little thing that I try to do, and share some of their music and share their CD or record or whatever.
Yeah. So find
Anyway.
something that you can do to, be passionate about, keep yourself occupied, and use the time for personal growth.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it, it's like we're sort of all kind of going into our cocoons, and we can either come out as like beautiful butterflies that have taken the opportunity to reflect and grow, and
Or overweight tubulards.
or lethargic little caterpillars. I don't know. That's
No, I know what you mean.
Maybe that wasn't the best analogy.
That makes sense, though.
But I mean, take the time to,
Yeah.
if you can try to see it in I know it's horrific and anxiety inducing, and we're all there. We go through moments of realizing where we're at and what's happening in the world, and it's panic inducing.
Yeah.
But if you can try to take the time to focus on the small gifts that this time is also giving us, I think it'll go a long way for
As well as the gifts
your
on
mental health.
Instagram and Facebook. Some of them can be pretty funny.
Oh, those gifts.
Yeah,
GIFs, you mean?
Oh, GIFs. Okay. Yeah. Anyway. Geoff, Jeff, whatever.
Yeah, so vitamin D is important. Was this just one other takeaway I wanted to mention? I was
Yeah.
lucky enough that I invested this year in a lamp,
Oh, light lamp.
a light lamp to
Yes.
just, I would get a little bit low energy during the winter months, and I had invested in a light lamp. and
Common
it's-
with people with seasonal affective disorder.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So it's a great thing for for mental health. So if you have one of those, this is the time to dust it off and make use of it.
Right.
But
Or
you
get
know,
out.
whenever possible, get outside.
Yeah,
because
get out in the sun.
physical distancing doesn't mean that you need to distance yourself from.
No, we go for walks
from the
every day.
outdoors. Just-
Sometimes as a family, sometimes individually.
Just find a safe place to do it, so
Mhm.
that you're if you don't live with the person, don't be
Yeah.
within 6 feet of them.
No,
That's as simple as it gets.
that's a simple rule to follow, and it will all work out in the end. So, all right, well, how
It
are we doing for
will.
time? Oh, thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks. Stay safe.
Okay, stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening.
And remember, you can catch up on past episodes at infoquench.com.
Or just about anywhere else you get your podcasts.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
And help spread the word about InfoQuench.
Till next time.